Mr. Mazzeo, O'Day Alumni Director.
Okay, so where are you from and what is your family background?
So I was born in Anchorage, Alaska. Lived there for a year, moved to San Francisco for a year, and then have been in the Seattle area ever since. Family background on my dad's side, Southern Italian, and then on my mother's side, Italian, German, and God, what else? I actually just got my DNA test a couple months back. And a little bit of Irish and Middle Eastern.
Cool. So what has been a major time of adversity or challenge in your life up to this point? How did you respond to this adversity? How was the situation resolved and what did you learn from this situation and how have you applied it to the rest of your life?
So I would say for me, the biggest adversity in my life was actually coming out of high school, graduating from O'Day. So I graduated in '99. At that time, I got rejected by University of Washington for college, and my parents were in the process of getting split. So it was definitely a difficult time because I'm 18 years old. I don't know what I'm going to do with school. I don't know what's going to happen with the family. So I really had to kind of turn to friends, other family, music, spirituality. All those things played a huge role in that. I ended up going to Shoreline Community College for 2 years to get my AA, which ended up being the best thing for me because then I got guaranteed entry into University of Washington after that. Got all of my core classes out of the way, plus saved a bunch of money. So that was a big deal. Still got my degree from UW. And then looking back on my whole situation with my parents as I got older, for a long time I was really upset about that. But as I got older, I realized that nobody should stay together if the love isn't there. And I've taken that to heart as an adult, and I feel that a lot of people sometimes force things because they feel the need to do that for others. And I think if you're not happy as an individual, then no one else in your family or friends or circle of loved ones is going to be happy either. So even though at that point in time it was a huge, part of adversity for me, coming out of it, it's definitely given me a lot of strength and growth as an adult.
Who has been an instrumental individual in your life up to this point? What individuals have been mentors for you and what did you learn from these mentors?
So I would say to kind of skip a little bit ahead, a big mentor for me, to be honest with you, is Coach Kohler here at O'Day. I think that he, even without really saying anything or walking into his office to talk to him about things, just what he stands for, what he represents as a man, how he changed the culture at O'Day. Is just an inspiring thing. So I kind of think about Coach or look up to him when it comes to making adult type decisions or, thinking to myself, like, am I putting myself, my family, my job in the best light by doing whatever it may be that I'm doing? And then, just doing things the right way. Coach Kohler has always talked about do it the right way and everything will work out. And so he's definitely been a mentor of mine, during my time when I was a student here at O'Day in the mid to late 90s. And then the whole time I've been working here since 2005. What was the first part of the question again?
Who's been an instrumental individual in your life up to this point?
So for that, it would probably be my dad. And as I mentioned earlier, with my parents going through the separation when I was graduating high school, for me that was a tough thing, and I got really frustrated with both of my parents, but especially with my dad. And for a couple of years, I didn't really talk to him much, and just had this anger. And then when I actually sat down and thought about it, he never treated myself or my brother or even my mom or anyone else any differently. He's one of the most loving and caring individuals that I know, and he's always had my back. And we're not like a family that is very affectionate with hugs or stuff like that. So every now and then when I do give my dad a hug, I'm sure it catches him off guard, but yeah, he's definitely been a strong male role model in my life since birth, obviously. Yeah.
How would you describe your religious practice or spirituality? What role does faith play in your life?
I'm a very spiritual person. Obviously grew up, raised in the Catholic Church. Um, Religion aside, I feel that having a personal relationship with God, whomever that God may be for each individual, is such an important thing for me personally. Just, I kind of look at it as, the spirituality of just being a good person. Just don't be a bad person. And, a lot of times that basically entails, just moments of silence where I just kind of, sit and clear my head. Moments where I thank God just for the so many blessings that I have in my life that a lot of times people would take advantage of, take for granted. And I think that spirituality is big because it also helps me kind of realize that, humanity in general is such a flawed race, unfortunately causing the eventual destruction of the earth probably. And I really try and tie my spirituality in with, just trying to be the best human that I can and love and help as many people as possible. And not just people, but animals and nature and all those other things. And I definitely see God in all in good people. I see God in nature. I see God in so many different things. So my spiritual life is very strong. Yeah.
So I know you already kind of touched on this a little bit, but where do you find God/peace/happiness in your life? Give specific examples of where you connect with God or find peace.
So I'll give you actually two great examples. Earlier this year, I got two half sleeve tattoos on both my arms, and both are nature related. So I see God in nature. On this arm, I've got a big tiger in his natural habitat, and for me, the tiger always symbolized the strength of one individual. Tigers, as everyone knows, are not a pack animal. As soon as they get older, they kind of go off and do their own thing. But they're such a just beautiful, majestic creature, and to me, I just see God and spirituality in the tiger. And then on this arm, I have kind of a tribute to the Pacific Northwest. It's got a falcon, an evergreen tree, a totem pole, some stars. So just the whole Pacific Northwest, the Native Americans, the animals here, in the upper West Coast. I mean, man, if you can't see God or spirituality and those kinds of things, then I'm not sure what you're looking at.
All right, so what is your favorite song, book, and movie? Why did you choose this song, book, or movie? What do these works of art mean to you?
Oh man, favorite song is tough. Favorite movie is Predator, just because it's awesome. The reason why my favorite movie is when I was younger, I always had this random thing for scary movies, and then I was always a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. So the combination of the two was just kind of like a home run. It's so 80s. It's got all the elements of just what makes a great action adventure movie. Favorite song? Oh man, boy, that's really tough. Gosh, I guess if I had to pick one and it could change like in 2 seconds, it would probably be the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. And the reason for that is because when I was younger, so my dad's a huge music fan, so I grew up listening to everything from Sade to Michael Jackson to Crosby, Stills and Nash, Funkadelic, George Clinton. But the Beatles were kind of like this, to me at least, the music was something that seemed ahead of its time. And I thought that Magical Mystery Tour in particular had a lot of hip hop elements. I feel that a lot of the hip hop genre kind of took from that without even realizing it. So when I listen to that song, it kind of reminds me of great music from the past as well as the great music of what's current. And then my favorite book probably this is kind of random, but a book that I read sophomore year at O'Day in Coach Anderson's class called Watership Down, which they no longer read here anymore, which is too bad because it was a book about a colony of rabbits, and it was just hilarious because they had their own language. So us being O'Day boys, as you guys know, we would joke around and use like the cuss words in rabbit when we were walking around the school, and no one else knew it unless they were reading the book. Coach Anderson was not thrilled. In fact, one time my junior year, when we used to do the announcements to the school on, they were filmed live, and each classroom had like a big TV in the corner of the rooms, and we would always have to read stuff like, so and so go to the dean's office and whatnot, and so we ended it with some rabbit jargon that was cuss words, and like the majority of the school was laughing, and then Coach Anderson, of course, runs up and slaps some detentions on the desk. Yeah, but that's a great book, though. It was an awesome book.
All right. So finally, could you give us a quote that communicates an important message that guides your life? This could be your own quote or a quote from someone else who is meaningful to you.
Oh boy. God, there's so many good quotes. I think the one that always sticks with me, especially the older I get, is love others how you want to be loved. And I think that I can't even, it's not from the Bible. To be totally honest with you, I can't even remember where it's from. I think that quote is so meaningful because I think that a lot of people, especially in today's world with social media and with cell phones and video games, a lot of people kind of forget that basic human interaction and love is the thing that kind of connects us all. And I think that while all those things with technology are great, they can kind of tear apart at that. And I think that a lot of people don't think that by saying or treating others in a certain way, that negatively affects not just that individual, but so many others. And it's just this systemic thing that has been happening for years and years and decades and centuries. And with all the wars that have gone on, I just think that if people would just kind of let love win and treat others how they want to be treated, so many horrific things could be avoided. I think if we can just focus as a human race on letting love win, then all these things can go away and make our earth a better place.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Sounds good.
Cool.